Hello and welcome. You're watching Across the Republic with me, Shavin Sen. Let me straight away take you through the stories that we are bringing to you tonight at 6 p.m. We start with the insult that the Indy has once again put out as far as the Tiranga Yatra is concerned. Wonder why exactly would the Indy Alliance really have a problem with the Har Ghar Har Tiranga Yatra? Let's also take you through the other big story that we're getting to tonight. This is an exclusive that we are going to get you. Was there a secret meeting between the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, and the Gupta brothers? Who exactly are the Gupta brothers? We'll tell you this and much more. Let's also take you through the other story that we're going to get to you tonight as far as the Hindenburg report is concerned. Hindenburg, the short seller, many would say that once again they've carried out a hit job when it comes to SEBI. They've made an accusation that the SEBI chief has basically invested in offshore accounts linked to the Adanis. As a private person, is a person not entitled to investments? That's the other big story that we're going to get to you. And finally, as far as Bangladeshi Hindus are concerned, a story that we've been tracking for the last several days put together. What's the condition of Bangladeshi Hindus? Why exactly are the intellectuals suddenly absolutely silent as far as the treatment that is being meted out to Bangladeshi Hindus? All this and much more on this edition of Across the Republic. But first, let's take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
After Mohit Khan, another Samajwadi Party leader Nawab Singh accused of attempt to rape a minor in Kannauj.
We demand a DNA test. We also demand concrete evidence before anybody is actually accused, and if there is any conspiracy involved, then those who are involved in this conspiracy should also be brought to the book.
Woman Samajwadi Party spokesperson brazens it out as she goes to victim shame the minor. From the national capital to Thiruvananthapuram, doctors hit the streets demanding justice for Abhaya.
मैं बोला गुप्ता बंधु से उद्धव ठाकरे जी की मीटिंग हो गई, संजय राउत जी के घर पे हो गई। उसका रीजन क्या है? इलेक्शन फंड के लिए मीटिंग हो गई क्या? उद्धव ठाकरे जी को बदनाम करने के लिए ये संजय राउत की साजिश है।
Big claim by Eknath Shinde camp as they allege that Uddhav Thackeray secretly met with the notorious Gupta brothers from South Africa in Delhi. Hindus across the globe unite against persecution of minorities in Bangladesh. Global call to save Hindus.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Well, starting this edition with the top story. Doctors of several hospitals across India staged an indefinite strike to protest against the gruesome rape and murder of a trainee doctor at Kolkata's RG Kaur Hospital. Doctors in Delhi, Lucknow, Kolkata and several other cities announced that all elective services would be halted till a probe is completed in the case. The protesters also demanding adequate security for all medical staff. Here's a detailed report.
Kolkata. Doctors and the nursing staff, they are protesting outside of Arjikar Medical College emergency building, and they are demanding justice. They are demanding justice for that lady, for that doctor who was brutally killed by some goons inside this hospital premises while she was on duty. And I would like to ask my video journalist to show you all the images from the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital.
New Delhi.
Reporting from the Ram Manohar Lohiya Hospital, where you can see that how the doctors are sitting in protest and demanding justice. And this is not only the scene at Ram Manohar Lohiya Hospital, but all across the public hospitals in Delhi. Today the protest has been there, and not only in Delhi, north, east, west, south. So whether that be Kerala, whether that be Maharashtra, whether that be Rajasthan, or whether that be Bengal, everyone today is seeking justice for Dr. Abhaya.
Thiruvananthapuram.
The resentment against the horrific rape and the murder of a doctor in West Bengal has resounding even in the southern tip. Right now in Thiruvananthapuram, you can see large number of doctors. These are students. They are here. They are gathered. Along with that, joining them is various associations, around 5 to 6 associations, which includes the house surgeons, the professors association, as well as the other doctors association. All have joined in protest in unison, demanding that this kind of situation should not arise.
Lucknow.
जो ये छात्र हैं, जो डॉक्टर्स हैं, वो प्रोटेस्ट के लिए निकले। आप लोग बताएं क्या मांग है आप लोग की?
हमारी मांग केवल इतनी है कि टोटली पॉलिटिकल तरीके से, अराजनीतिक तरीके से जो डॉक्टर साहब, जो हमारे आरजीकर मेडिकल कॉलेज बंगाल के डॉक्टर साहब के साथ दुर्घटना की गई है, उसकी कड़े तरीके से हम निंदा करते हैं और उसकी कड़ी हमारे को इंक्वायरी चाहिए, सीबीआई को इन्वॉल्व किया जाना चाहिए, हमको न्याय चाहिए, हमको इस देश के हर एक चिकित्सक के लिए सुरक्षा चाहिए।
Doctors across the nation have hit the streets. Their demand? Only one. Justice for Abhaya. Abhaya, a trainee doctor at Kolkata's Arjikar Medical College, was raped. She was found bleeding from her private parts, her neck broken, multiple injury marks all over her body. The barbaric act has sent shockwaves across the country. The BJP is demanding CBI investigation.
Obviously, he has patronage. As simple as that. And when the patronage became too heavy to handle, he was meant to resign. लेकिन मैं भी पॉलिटिकल बात नहीं कर रहा हूं। उस डॉक्टर बेटी की आत्मा को न्याय मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा?
Mamata Banerjee is completely silent. But the calls for justice is only growing louder by the day.
Shiv Sena parliamentarian Naresh Maske has alleged that Uddhav Thackeray met with one of the Gupta brothers implicated in a multi-billion rupee scam in South Africa. In fact, the sensational claim that was made by the Shiv Sena parliamentarian goes on to indicate that this alleged meeting took place in the national capital and was organized by Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut. Take a look at this detailed report.
Ahead of the much-awaited Maharashtra Assembly elections, Uddhav Thackeray finds himself in a fresh controversy. The Shinde Sena has claimed that Uddhav met one of the Gupta brothers in the national capital. The 30-minute meeting was allegedly linked to potential election funding.
उबाठा के प्रमुख श्री उद्धव जी ठाकरे बहुत जोरदार शोर शराबे के साथ दिल्ली गए थे और उनकी तरफ से ऐसी घोषणा उनकी पार्टी की तरफ से कि वो इंडिया अलायंस के तमाम नेताओं से मिलने जा रहे हैं। ऐसी भी चर्चा हुई कि मुख्यमंत्री का चेहरा उनको बनाया जाए, इस विषय के ऊपर चर्चा करने के लिए गए हैं। ये सब कुछ सार्वजनिक था, जाहिर था। ये 3 दिनों की मीटिंग के दरमियान उन्होंने चुपके से साउथ अफ्रीका से जो फरार भ्रष्टाचारी गुप्ता बंधु हैं, उनमें से एक गुप्ता से मिले वो। ये मुलाकात 7 अगस्त को शाम को संजय राउत के घर पर हुई है।
साउथ अफ्रीका में उनके ऊपर चार्जेस है, वहां की सरकार ने उनके ऊपर केस डाला है। वो भाग के दुबई गए थे उनके ऊपर हिंदुस्तान के अनेक राज्यों में फंसाने के, करप्शन के केसेस है। वो आदमी की मीटिंग उद्धव ठाकरे जी के साथ उस दिन दिल्ली में हो गई।
The Uddhav Sena have refuted the allegations. They have asked for proof. The Gupta brothers are one of the most wanted South African fugitives. With all cards failing, is Uddhav now seeking out multi-billion rupee scamsters to sail through Maharashtra elections?
Well, on day two of the Hindenburg versus SEBI clash, all eyes were on the stock market's reaction. While the markets remain unfazed, Adani Group stocks have fallen by 7%. Meanwhile, the Hindenburg research report on SEBI chief has raised a massive political storm. In fact, the SEBI chief has already indicated that the investment that was being spoken about, she's made that as a private citizen. Take a look at this detailed report.
After a stormy Sunday of the Hindenburg versus SEBI clash, curiosity about the market's response gripped Monday. While the stock markets remained unfazed, Adani Group shares tumbled by 7%.
Market in India on Monday seems to be unfazed by whatever allegations Hindenburg put on Madhvi Puri, SEBI chairperson. And when we talk about the market performance in the early trading hour, market opened in the red but recovered all early losses. And when we talk about the Adani companies, Adani Group companies lost as much as $19 billion in the early trading hours but recovered as the trading hours proceeded further. After opening lower on August 12, Nifty 50 regained the positive momentum to hit an intraday high of 24,472. However, as the day concludes, the Nifty erased recovery at the end, 20.50 points lower.
Hindenburg research report on SEBI chief has raised a massive political storm. Modi opponents want the SEBI chief's ouster amid Hindenburg claims.
There is a significant risk in the Indian stock market because the institution that governs the stock market is compromised. The savings of millions of Indians, hard-earned, honestly earned savings, are at risk. It is therefore imperative that this matter is investigated.
I do not agree with her version because Hindenburg revelation has caused huge debate inside the country. SEBI is market regulator. She is head of the market regulator, SEBI. How come she and her husband continue to have shares in Adani group of industries outside, in abroad? She has to explain all such questions, whether market regulations were compromised in order to favor a particular corporate house.
Meanwhile, the centre refuses to interfere, calling it a malicious report that seeks to destroy Indian markets.
स्वाभाविक है, हिंडनबर्ग is again at the same game. ये रिपोर्ट शनिवार को रिलीज होती है, रविवार को हल्ला मचता है ताकि सोमवार को पूरे कैपिटल मार्केट को अस्थिर कर दिया जाए. The Congress party, its allies and its closest allies, the Toolkit gang, have conspired together to usher in economic anarchy and instability in India. अब ये चीज पड़ गई, जेपीसी लाओ, इंक्वायरी कराओ, मतलब भारत के पूरे स्टॉक मार्केट को क्रैश कराओ.
ये देश को बदनाम करने वाले गैंग हैं राहुल और जयराम रमेश. हिंडनबर्ग हमें बदनाम करता है, हम इसे देश की बदनामी को बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे. ये लोग देश के दुश्मन हैं. अब हिंडनबर्ग पर कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी.
The American firm claimed in a blog that market regulator SEBI's chairperson Madhavi Puri Buch and her husband Dhaval Buch had stakes in the obscure offshore funds used in the Adani scandal. Buch, SEBI and Adani have denied the short sellers' allegations. The American firm accused the market regulator of showing a surprising lack of interest in Adani's alleged undisclosed web of Mauritius and offshore shell entities because of Buch's secret financial interests. While Hindenburg stays on the defensive, the opposition is going all out to corner the center on this issue.
Well, as the country celebrates Azadi Mahotsav, politics over government's Har Ghar Tiranga is back in focus. Hitting out at the DMK government, Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai claimed the Tamil Nadu police denied permission for the Tiranga rally. For more, take a look at this detailed report.
Har Ghar Tiranga and Tiranga rally was marked by much enthusiasm and patriotic fervour across the country. But some continued with the tirade, politicizing Tiranga rally once again. As the Tamil Nadu police denied permission for Tiranga Yatras in the state BJP President K. Annamalai claimed that the ruling DMK has once again shown that it does not like the national flag. Politics over Tiranga rally and Har Ghar Tiranga campaign has drawn sharp responses from the BJP.
वो भारत का विरोध कर रहा है।
हिंडनबर्ग का रिपोर्ट आया है, क्या वो चाहते हैं कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी को बर्बाद करें?
हिंडनबर्ग का रिपोर्ट राहुल गांधी टूल किट का
दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। आप पार्टी का विरोध कीजिए, व्यक्ति का विरोध कीजिए, कौन मना करता है किसी को, लेकिन तिरंगे का विरोध करना, जिस तिरंगे को लेकर हमने आज़ादी प्राप्त की है, जिस तिरंगे को लेकर आज सेना हमारा अपना मनोबल, देश का मनोबल बढ़ाती है, सुरक्षा करती है, जिस तिरंगे को लेकर आज ओलंपिक हो, खेल हो, कहीं भी हो, तिरंगा ही फहराया जाता है। आप उसका विरोध करके क्या दिखाना चाहते हैं? इससे साफ जाहिर है कि आपकी राष्ट्रीय विरोधी मानसिकता है। आप टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग से जुड़े हुए हैं। देश पे अनेकों अनेक तरीके से जहाँ से भी आक्रमण कर सकते हैं, मनोबल गिरा सकते हैं, वो सारे काम कर रहे हैं। ये मुझे लगता है कि देश की जनता को इसको समझ लेना चाहिए। ये लोग जो इंडिया अलायंस वाले लोग हैं, इनका देश से, राष्ट्र से कोई मतलब नहीं है। इनका खाली विरोध करना है। पार्लियामेंट में लगातार विरोध करेंगे, पार्लियामेंट में नहीं बोलेंगे, बाहर जाके शोर मचाने का काम करेंगे। इससे इनकी मानसिकता दर्शाती है और देश की जनता सब जानने भी लगी है।
Head starting in 2021, Har Ghar Tiranga is a campaign that forms part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. While the idea behind the initiative is to invoke the feeling of patriotism in the hearts of the people, the politics surrounding this is merely an attempt to stoke controversy over issues of national pride.
That's all that we could pack in this edition of Across the Republic. I'll see you at 7 o'clock this evening on This Is Exclusive as we get you a conversation with celebrity author Amish Tripathi.
Amish Tripathi breaks down concerns of Hindus.
If you match the drastic reduction in population proportion and multiply that by the base of the population of Pakistan and Bangladesh today, there are 60 million fewer minorities than there should have been. Should we have a policy of a right to return for all the minority groups of Pakistan and Bangladesh? Because they are a result of the failure of the Nehru-Liaquat Pact, what they are suffering.
For minorities of Bangladesh and Pakistan, all that and more in tonight's edition of This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, you know? He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
Here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walls just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are.
Fire alarm? Yep, we're gonna test it.
Thank you. Okay. A little bit. Okay.
Somewhere go to Verizon and number one, be like, why the hell am I paying so much?
That's actually fire alarm? Yep, we're gonna test it.
Thank you.
And as I think everyone here can see, Tim Walz was the kind of teacher and mentor that every child in America dreams of having, and that every kid deserves. The kind of coach, because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be. And that's the kind of vice president America deserves.
It's been fun to tell my friends across the nation and also international friends that the memes that are on Twitter about how he's like the Midwest dad, they're all absolutely true.
So here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walls just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are celebrating. I used to watch Tim Walz walk down the hallways. And I probably shouldn't even use the word walk. This man moves so quickly. So you could just hear him coming a mile away. But the reason you knew he was coming is he was saying, good morning, how's it going? Hey, saw that game last night, great job on the basketball team. Good morning, how you feeling? Ooh, you're looking a little rough today, what's going on? He was always checking in with every individual, whether you were in his class, whether you were on the football team.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, you know? He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
You know, his classroom had things that were from all over the world, especially China. Like,
do Hindu lives really not matter? What's really happening in Bangladesh? Why is it that our intellectuals do not like speaking about the plight of Hindus? Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we have celebrity author Amish Tripathi joining us, telling you why you and I should be raising our voice. Why it is time to once again put the spotlight on what's happening to the minorities in Bangladesh and Pakistan.
blending the human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in. You're watching live breaking at 6:30. I'm Suesha Sawant. Back-to-back breaking news lined up in this edition. First, a quick check of the headlines we're tracking.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
After Mohit Khan, another SP leader, Nawab Singh, accused of attempt to rape a minor in Kannauj.
We demand a DNA test. We also demand concrete evidence before anybody is actually accused. And if there is any conspiracy involved, then those who are involved in this conspiracy should also be brought to the book.
Woman SP spokesperson brazens it out as she goes to shame the victim, who's a minor. From the national capital to Thiruvananthapuram, doctors hit the streets demanding justice for Abhaya.
मैं बोला गुप्ता बंधु से उद्धव ठाकरे जी की मीटिंग हो गई, संजय राउत जी के घर पे होगी। उसका रीजन क्या है? इलेक्शन फंड के लिए मीटिंग हो गई। क्या उद्धव ठाकरे जी को बदनाम करने के लिए ये संजय राउत की साजिश है?
Big claim by Eknath Shinde camp as they allege that Uddhav Thackeray secretly met with the notorious Gupta brothers from South Africa in Delhi. Hindus across the globe unite against persecution of minorities in Bangladesh. Global call to save Hindus.
By Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
And first up, we get you details of the biggest business story that is making headlines at the moment. Yes, retail inflation numbers for July are out and they stand at 3.54%. Rajat Mishra from Republic Business joining us in the studio to give us more details on the same. Over to you, Rajat.
Yes, Suesha. So this is the big breaking that Republic Business is tracking now. The retail inflation number for the month of July has just come in and the number stands at 3.54% for the month of July. So retail inflation at 3.54% is the lowest in last 5 years and is also lowest in the 5 years and under the RBI's midterm target of 4%. So this is a big, because analysts were expecting this number somewhere between 3.3 to 3.7% and falling within that estimate of 3.3 to 3.7%. The retail inflation number has just come in between at 3.54%. And one thing that is driving this moderation is a statistical base effect. As we know, in the July last year, in the same month in 2023, retail inflation was at 7.4%, which was a quite higher. So now that base effect, statistical impact of a base effect, higher base effect is playing out in July. That's why there is this massive moderation that can be witnessed in the retail inflation at 3.54% can be seen. On the other hand, some analysts were saying that retail inflation may go up to 4.1% just because of the tariff hike, telecom tariff hike that we have seen in the last month. But food inflation and balancing out the telecom tariff hike, this base impact has played a very important role as far as this moderation to 3.54% in July month is concerned, Suesha. So this is a big relief as far as RBI's midterm target is concerned, as just RBI MPC has concluded few days back, and they said that and they have kept the inflation outlook unchanged at 4.5%. So big relief for Reserve Bank of India as well as for the consumers, because the number has moderated. But analysts have also warned that this base effect will not play out in the next quarter, and then Indian inflation can inch up beyond 4% going forward, Suesha.
All right, Rajat, many thanks for getting us those details. Of course, for the moment, we move on to other breaking news. Yes, protests that have escalated outside RG Medical College. Demand for justice for Abhaya grows as these are protests that are escalating across India. Doctors have taken to the streets. This after a trainee doctor in Kolkata was sexually assaulted and murdered. Even as an investigation is underway, you see those pictures of how trainee doctors and doctors at RG Hospital in Kolkata have gathered, where slogans are getting louder, demanding justice for Abhaya. Remember, we have been getting you voices of many of these doctors sitting at this protest where they say that they do not feel safe anymore. And they will not back down unless and until justice is served in this case. A protest that is not just limited to Kolkata, but has been happening across the country, where doctors have taken to the streets and they demand justice for Abhaya. Several developments are coming in as far as a change in management at the RG Hospital is concerned. And here you see how they have lit fire as they demand justice for Abhaya. Ishandev joining us from the Bagna newsroom to take us through the details of how the situation is intensifying on the ground. Ishandev, there is widespread anger over what happened to that trainee doctor, and now slogans getting louder demanding justice for Abhaya.
Suesha, today the biggest organization of doctors, they have took to the streets and they have organized a protest march demanding justice for Abhaya, which protest march started from College Square and it moved towards RG Medical College Hospital, where this brutal incident happened. The doctors fraternity, the doctors community, the whole medico community in West Bengal, they are in solidarity with this with the victim of this brutal incident. And in most of the government hospitals, the doctors are protesting, and without hampering the emergency service, they are protesting and they are going for almost strike. The situation is like that, and they are protesting in the capital of West Bengal. They are taking to the streets. So there is no doubt about it that without seeing any political color, the doctors, the whole medical community, they have come down to the streets to protest against this incident, and they are demanding not only justice, but they are saying that if not this one person who has been arrested till now, if more persons are associated with this, then all of them should be arrested and should be taken to justice, whatever may be their identity, whatever influential background they may have, but they should be taken to justice. This is the demand which is coming, and they are the doctors fraternity in West Bengal. They are saying, they are demanding that if there is any effort to suppress anything, to suppress any fact under the mattress, then that will not be allowed, that will not be tolerated. So this is the voice coming out from the medical fraternity in West Bengal. And at the same time, there is an update. This Sandeep Ghosh, who was the principal of RG Medical College, who has resigned from his post today, he has been rehabilitated with utmost care by government of West Bengal to Calcutta National Medical College. He has been made the principal of Calcutta National Medical College just hours after his resignation from RG Kor. So this question is also being risen that is Mr. Sandeep Ghosh, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, so close to the current dispensation in West Bengal that just after his resignation, only a few hours have passed, and he is being made a principal of another medical college. So these kinds of questions are also being risen. Suesha.
Absolutely, and let's quickly flash those details that you just shared with us. Ishan Dev, former RG Kar principal Professor Sandeep Ghosh reappointed as the principal of the Calcutta National Medical College, while Suchitra Paul has been appointed as the new principal of the RG Kar Medical College. Big decision that has been taken owing to the widespread protests after Abhaya was sexually assaulted and murdered. Ishan Dev, fact is that while this particular change has been made, has this in any way satisfied the doctors who are on the ground protesting? What else do they demand with regards to their security? Because we understand that at the RG Kar Medical College, even CCTV cameras that were not installed.
Exactly. So the doctors fraternity in West Bengal, they are just after this brutal incident came to surface, everyone from this fraternity, they are demanding that their safety and security at the workplace should be ensured first of all. What update you were mentioning, about which I was also telling earlier, that this Sandeep Ghosh, who is also being held by a lot of doctors, who is also being held as responsible by a lot of doctors, that he cannot deny his responsibility behind this brutal incident at RG Kar. He is being rehabilitated to CNMC within hours of his resignation from RG Kar. This is also not a very normal or natural thing in the eyes of the doctors here in West Bengal. Suesha.
All right. Many thanks, Ishan Dev, for getting us the latest. Of course, we keep coming back to you for further updates on the story. For the moment, we also shift our focus to more breaking news coming in. Yes, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has ordered the accelerated deployment of guided missile submarine and the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group equipped with F-35 fighters, this to the West Asia region. This decision that has been announced by the Pentagon comes amid rising tensions in the region. Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor joining us live with further details on the same. Over to you, Abhishek, on the heightened deployment.
All right, so this is information coming in through Secretary Defense Lloyd Austin's X account, Suesha, and according to this, America has moved one more carrier strike group, which is essentially an aircraft carrier with whatever other naval ships that accompany a carrier strike group going in, and that means that now United States has two carrier strike groups, one each in the Persian Gulf and on the side of Eastern Mediterranean Sea, essentially guarding Israel from all sides. Apart from this, so for example, yesterday, as per this post by Lloyd Austin, they have ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group to move towards the Middle East, and this of course carries its complement of F-35C fighters. And apart from this, the USS Theodore Roosevelt has already been there in the vicinity of Israel on the Eastern Mediterranean side. And apart from this, the Secretary of Defense is also informed that USS Georgia submarine is it's a guided missile submarine, which is also at the disposal of Central Command. Obviously, Central Command has a huge swathe, but all this military movement happening in the Middle East towards Israel, essentially taking care of Israeli safety. I think what this is United States upping the game insofar as its force posture is concerned in the larger Middle East, just to send across a message to all the forces that are inimical to Israel that United States is going to stand with Israel and take care of its security, and if need be, move more warships, including this in the latest instance, USS Abraham Lincoln. Also, this is a message to not just Iran, but all the Iranian affiliate forces like the Hamas in Gaza, of course, and then the Houthis in Yemen, and then the Hezbollah in Lebanon. Remember, we have seen the northern front of Israel also getting hot over the last 1 week since the elimination of Fuad Shukr, who was the political leader of Hezbollah, a military leader of Hezbollah, I beg your pardon. And then, of course, Iran has been wanting to hit back on Israel after the elimination of Haniyeh, who was in Tehran, in fact, when that bombing of his facility happened, and Israel, of course, has not taken responsibility. But the information of Mohammad Daif, the military chief, and Mohammad Haniyeh, the political chief, coming back to back, obviously has made things really hot insofar as the Middle East war is concerned. Iran promising to hit back, and n number of times they have already issued NOTAMs, which means there is an element of mind games also, but the United States obviously not taking chances, and Secretary of Defense announcing that America has bolstered its defenses of Israel with movement of USS Abraham Lincoln, apart from USS Theodore Roosevelt, which has already been in the Middle East for a while.
All right, Abhishek, many thanks for getting us those details. Of course, we wait and watch and continue to track all the further developments as we also move on to more breaking news coming in. Yes, we are learning that the former ISI chief has been arrested by the Pak military. In fact, we are learning that this on the grounds of how he had misused his position while he was in power. This is the former ISI chief, Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, who had allegedly misused his authority as ISI Director General. On the 12th of May 2017, at the behest of General Faiz, ISI officials had raided his top city office and residence, and valuables including gold, diamonds, a lot of cash that was seized from the house of the ISI official. Sardar Najaf, the brother of Faiz, also contacted him to resolve the issue later. We stay with that image as I also bring in Gursimran, who has been tracking further details on this story. Gursimran, what had happened?
See, this comes after the Supreme Court's directions that were given to the Pakistani government that the Supreme Court cannot intervene to the application that has been moved by the owner of the Top City. Important to mention that Top City is a business firm as well as the owner of several news channels in Pakistan, and they have moved an application in the Supreme Court against retired Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, in which they have said that when he was Major General in the ISI, he misused his power and raided their premises in 2017 May, and they seized worth crores of diamonds, cash, as well as other jewelry. And this was the allegation, and they said that the brother of Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid, he also contacted them for the mediation so that the issue can be resolved. After which the Pakistani army conducted an internal inquiry, and now the court-martial proceedings have been started against Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid. Important to mention that he has also been arrested by the military, Pakistani military, and this means that in the days to come, when the court-martial proceedings will proceed, his ranks might be snatched from him. This could be the action that the Pakistani military can take, because the preliminary statement that has been issued by the Pakistani army that clearly states that he was not only involved in violation of rules during his service periods, but also post his retirement. Important to mention that General Faiz Hamid is considered close to the PTI and also to the Imran Khan, and that's why he was seen as one of the key persons who brought the Imran Khan into the power in 2017. So these were the allegations on him, and now he has been placed under arrest for misconduct and misusing his official powers.
All right, Gursimran, many thanks for getting us those details. Of course, for the moment, as we also keep a close watch on what happens next on this front and what the legal proceedings will be. This, as we have to slip into a very short commercial break. On the other side, our all-out focus on the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh, where the Hindu community across the globe is now coming together to raise their voice of not just what is happening in Bangladesh, but the safety of Hindus that has now come under the spotlight.
Amish Tripathi breaks down concerns of Hindus.
If you match the drastic reduction in population proportion and multiply that by the base of the population of Pakistan and Bangladesh today, There are 60 million fewer minorities than there should have been. Should we have a policy of a right to return for all the minority groups of Pakistan and Bangladesh? Because they are a result of the failure of the Nehru-Liaquat Pact, what they are suffering.
For minorities of Bangladesh and Pakistan, all that and more in tonight's edition of This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
Fire alarm? Yep, we got to test it.
Thank you. Okay. A little bit. Okay.
Somewhere go to Verizon, do number one, be like, why am I paying so much?
That's actually fire alarm? Yep, we got to test it.
Thank you.
And as I think everyone here can see, Tim Walz was the kind of teacher and mentor that every child in America dreams of having, and that every kid deserves. The kind of coach, because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be. And that's the kind of vice president America deserves.
It's been fun to tell my friends across the nation and also international friends that the memes that are on Twitter about how he's like the Midwest dad, they're all absolutely true.
So here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walz just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are celebrating. I used to watch Tim Walz walk down the hallways. And I probably shouldn't even use the word walk. This man moves so quickly. So you could just hear him coming a mile away. But the reason you knew he was coming is he was saying, good morning, how's it going? Hey, saw that game last night, great job on the basketball team. Good morning, how you feeling? Ooh, you're looking a little rough today, what's going on? He was always checking in with every individual, whether you were in his class, whether you were on the football team.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
You know, his classroom had things that were from all over the world, especially China, like hanging up in the classroom. He would talk about cultures and world leaders and really get us to think broad. You know, we weren't just talking about Mankato or Minnesota or even the United States. It was really like looking at and really instilled in me a deep appreciation and interest in other cultures. My brother was a year ahead of me, and he was someone who was bullied a lot. And to see someone like Mr. and Mrs. Walls stand up for bullies, as you know, a younger classman, and what can I do as a sibling, or how can you kind of help support someone when you see them getting bullied? To see them take on that leadership role and say that that's not going to be accepted, there was kind of a culture shift. And remembering that Mr. Walls was our football coach.
Amish Tripathi breaks down concerns of Hindus.
If you match the drastic reduction in population proportion and multiply that by the base of the population of Pakistan and Bangladesh today, there are 60 million fewer minorities than there should have been. Should we have a policy of a right to return for all the minority groups of Pakistan and Bangladesh? Because they are a result of the failure of the Nehru-Liaquat Pact, what they are suffering.
For minorities of Bangladesh and Pakistan, all that and more in tonight's edition of This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings. A testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, you know. He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
Here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walls just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are.
Blending the human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
Hello and welcome. You're watching This Is Exclusive with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, we once again put the spotlight on what's really happening in Bangladesh. Over 200 deaths that have already taken place. One particular community has been targeted, but some in Bangladesh are saying that this is fear-mongering. Here in India too, there is this entire intellectual lobby which has gone completely silent on this entire matter. But now, you've had several prominent authors, historians, academicians who have now come together asking for some accountability. Will Mohammad Yunus's government take some accountability as to what's really happening in Bangladesh? Over 300 people have already died before 5th of August. After 5th of August, over 200 deaths that have taken place. Total number 238, and this number continues to grow. Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we speak to celebrity author Amish Tripathi, who says that perhaps it is time for India to talk about return policy. All this and much more on this edition of This Is Exclusive. But up first, let's take you through the headlines we are tracking at this hour.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Hindus up in arms in Gopalganj of Bangladesh. Hindu community puts forth 8 demands before the interim government. After Mohit Khan, another Samajwadi Party leader faces charges under POCSO Act for attempting to rape minor on pretext of job. Nawab Singh Yadav arrested.
We demand a DNA test. We also demand concrete evidence before anybody is actually accused, and if there is any conspiracy involved, then those who are involved in this conspiracy should also be brought to the book.
Women Samajwadi Party spokesperson Juhi victim shames minor, asks what job was the minor looking for at night, demands narco test. Doctors roll out pan-India protest demanding justice for trainee doctor who was raped and murdered in Kolkata.
मैं बोला गुप्ता बंधु से उद्धव ठाकरे जी की मीटिंग हो गई, संजय राउत जी के घर पे होगी। उसका रीजन क्या है? इलेक्शन फंड के लिए मीटिंग हो गई। क्या उद्धव ठाकरे जी को बदनाम करने के लिए ये संजय राउत की साजिश है?
Big claim by Eknath Shinde camp as they allege that Uddhav Thackeray secretly met with notorious Gupta brothers from South Africa in New Delhi.
There is a significant risk in the Indian stock market because the institution that governs the stock market is compromised.
Adani and SEBI deny Hindenburg allegations, but Rahul Gandhi fearmongers with market crash theory.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Ladies and gentlemen, do Hindu lives really matter? Why is it that the so-called intellectuals in our country are so very squeamish when it comes to Hindu lives? Why is it that they have never raised any issue about what's really happening in Bangladesh? There is also a section currently in Bangladesh who've been saying that the Indian media, Republic Media Network in particular, has been fear-mongering. Is that the case? Data shows that over 200 deaths that have taken place since Sheikh Hasina fled from the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had to urge the head of the interim government to protect the Hindus as well as the minorities. So why exactly have a section, a lobby, still harboring the fact that there is nothing that is happening in Bangladesh, everything is returning to normalcy, and there is no problem as far as Hindus are concerned? So much so, today you have had top academicians, historians, as well as intellectuals coming together, penning an open letter demanding that Hindus should be protected, hoping that the international community will take some cognizance of what's really happening in Bangladesh. Questions that we are asking of the Western media who've seen the lives that have been lost in Gaza, but not a single word when it comes to Hindus, innocent Hindus who have lost their life in Bangladesh. And the fact that there are this entire group that is now advocating mobocracy in India. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing to you tonight is celebrity author Amish Tripathi, who is also one of the signatories as far as that open letter is concerned. Take a look at this report. Tonight on this edition of This Is Exclusive, we have a very special guest, celebrity author Amish Tripathi joins us. Mr. Tripathi, thank you very much for joining us. Perhaps you're making a debut on This Is Exclusive, so thank you very much. Let me straight away begin by asking you a letter that has been written about the plight of Bangladeshi Hindus. A democracy has been turned upside down. It took about 5 days for the United Nations to really respond to this. Do you think this letter would be good enough to bring about some change in Bangladesh, given the fact that even the United Nations, the response that came in was from the spokesperson? That shows the kind of seriousness that is being attached to it.
Shravan, I think the thing that has to be taken very seriously is that this is not just an issue that has emerged now. I have written on the minority groups, primarily Hindus, but also Christians and Sikhs of Bangladesh and Pakistan. I've written about it many times, an article in 2019, which I mentioned in my tweet, even earlier. From independence, when India was partitioned till now, the minority groups of Pakistan, West Pakistan and East Pakistan is now Bangladesh, have suffered heinous crimes. The minorities have been practically wiped out. Pakistani scholar Farhanaz Ispahani has written on it. Bangladeshi scholar of Dhaka University, Professor Barkat, has written on it. The minority groups were less than a third of the population, a significant portion of Bangladesh at their independence. Today they are close to 9%. Can you imagine the drop? In Pakistan, the minority groups, most of whom were Hindus, but also Sikhs and Christians, were maybe around 11-12%. Now they are around 3%, of which perhaps 1.5%, 2% are Hindus. If you match the drastic reduction in population proportion and multiply that by the base of the population of Pakistan and Bangladesh today, there are 60 million fewer minorities than there should have been in Pakistan and Bangladesh. In India, on the other hand, India and Nepal, the minority proportion of populations have gone up. Actually, I'm not saying India is perfect, but a minority group can have other rights only when they have the most fundamental right of all, which is the right to live. And clearly, minority groups in Pakistan and Bangladesh, as has been shown over the last 70-80 years, almost don't have the right to live. It is the greatest genocide of the last 70-80 years and is being ignored by the entire world.
This brings me to the other aspect, which many would say is extremely disheartening. Across the globe, Mr. Tripathi, you would have seen the kind of discourse that takes place when it comes to anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, but there is absolutely no discourse when it comes to the plight of Hindus, those speaking for the Hindus, and even if we are speaking, then we would essentially be labeled as fear-mongering. That's exactly what has happened. The reportage that Republic Media Network has been doing over the last few days from Bangladesh, some are now leveling the allegation that, look, we are fear-mongering.
Shaban, you're right. The amount of suffering that minority groups have suffered in Pakistan and Bangladesh has been ignored by the world. But a large part of why that's happening is frankly on us Indians. Who's stopping us from talking about it? We have ignored this for decades. The few who speak, but I would advise that we must speak of these issues in a calm manner and using data. And data shows very clearly if there are 60 million fewer minority people than there should have been in Pakistan and Bangladesh, it shows the extent of the pogrom, and it's not one particular regime or it's the state itself for the last 70-80 years. Most of those who have suffered are backward caste and what would be called scheduled caste Hindus. For example, in Bangladesh, most of the sufferers have been Nam Shudras. You being a Bengali would be aware of this community. And in India, they are classified as scheduled caste. But there are also Christians and Sikhs who've suffered. And it's up to us Indians to speak of this issue and make the world listen. And we must put this across relentlessly, but calmly and using data. These people have to be saved. They're perhaps the most oppressed minority groups in the world today. The CAA that the Indian government had come out with was primarily to save these people.
I'll come to the CAA aspect in a short while from now, Mr. Tripathi, but I want you to perhaps weigh in on this. Consider the fact that Bengali intellectuals have been completely silent on this issue. The political class, I'm not naming any political party for that matter, but the political class, you've had the Prime Minister urging the leader of the interim government in Bangladesh to protect the Hindus and other minorities. But the other divide, on the other side of the aisle, the political class here, they seem to be a little squeamish when it comes to talking about the Hindus and the plight of Hindus. If that's where we stand today, where are we really headed towards?
Shaban, what I would say is rather than pointing fingers at those who have not raised their voice, let's encourage those who do want to raise their voice and may not be raising it for whatever reasons. Even amongst Bengali intellectuals, many have raised their voice. Part of those who have not raised their voice, part of the reason could be bias, and that does exist, yes. Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism are considered to be the last of the surviving ancient ways, what are called idol worshippers. And there is certainly a bias against such people. It has been around for 2000 years now. But there are many who haven't raised their voice simply because of ignorance. They may not know what is happening. So it's up to us to raise these issues repeatedly and get those who have not raised their voice simply because they don't know. We need to tell them this is what is happening. It's not just one incident of a house being burnt or two people being killed. It's not that. It is actually a pogrom that has been happening for 70-80 years. The data is clearly there. And this is data brought out by Pakistani scholars, by Bangladeshi scholars, built on their census data, right? 60 million, I repeat that number again, 60 million fewer minorities than there should have been. It's a shocking number.
I find your entire approach, Mr. Tripathi, extremely constructive, and hence I want to ask you this question. For those who say that why should we really worry about what's really happening about minorities in Pakistan and Bangladesh, what would you tell them? Second, if this really continues, this trend really continues, where are we really headed towards and why it is alarming?
A few things. One, some may raise a question on the number itself, right? That it's an alarmist number. Let me tell you, this is the way that even, for example, the number of female feticide is also calculated. What is the lower proportion than they should have been? And you multiply that by the population. It's the same way. 60 million, doesn't that number shock you enough? Isn't that a reason to do something to those who say that nothing should be done? The second reason is that those who were left behind in Pakistan and Bangladesh are a result of the partition of British India. This is the responsibility of India then to take care of. Because remember, there was a Nehru-Liaquat Pact in 1950. The Honorable Prime Minister Nehru of that time and Pakistani leader Liaquat Khan had signed an agreement that India will take care of its Muslim minorities and Pakistan will take care of its non-Muslim minorities. Again, I'm not saying India is perfect, but the Muslim minority in India, their proportion of population has gone up from 9% to 15%. So India honored Prime Minister Nehru's word, but Pakistan clearly did not, honor Liaquat Khan's word. They were the ones left behind in Bangladesh and Pakistan were a result of the partition. It's our responsibility to take care of them.
Let's also focus a little bit, Mr. Tripathi, as far as the solutions.
I'm sorry, the last thing what you said, what will happen to those who are left behind. You don't need to take my word for it. Professor Barkat of Dhaka University himself put in writing that at the rate at which Hindus are being wiped out in Bangladesh, there'll probably be no Hindus left there in just another 30 years. 30 years.
One final question that I want to take with you, Mr. Tripathi, is with regards to the solutions at hand. We do not have an asylum policy in place. Many would also argue that perhaps some amendments to the CAA is also required because there is a cut-off date. A humanitarian assistance policy is also something that many would really demand at this point in time, especially in situations like this. What would you suggest the way forward in terms of providing humanitarian assistance, asylum, as well as the CAA?
Javan, I think policy that may be worth considering. And because this is a leftover of the partition of India, which was the seminal event for independent India. We seem to ignore the impact of partition. Our history books teach us very little about it. Should we have a policy of a right to return for all the minority groups of Pakistan and Bangladesh? The Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Parsis, Jains who are left behind because they are a result of the failure of the Nehru-Liaquat Pact, what they are suffering. I think perhaps the time has come to discuss such a policy, a right of return for the minority groups of Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Tripathi, for putting this into perspective. And perhaps that's an area of discussion which has been brushed under the carpet for a very long time. And this once again puts the spotlight on that. It's always a pleasure having you on Republic TV.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for a short break. We'll also go across to a reporter in Dhaka to get you a sense of what's really happening on the ground.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
Here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walls just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are.
Fire alarm? Yep, we're going to test it.
Thank you. Okay. A little bit. Okay.
Thank you. And as I think everyone here can see, Tim Walz was the kind of teacher and mentor that every child in America dreams of having, and that every kid deserves. The kind of coach, because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be. And that's the kind of vice president America deserves.
It's been fun to tell my friends across the nation and also international friends that the memes that are on Twitter about how he's like the Midwest dad, they're all absolutely true.
Taste of success.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people have been asking that is that really the case, that Hindus are being targeted, minorities are being targeted in Bangladesh? Let me take you through the numbers first, and then we'll also have a live report from Puran, Dhaka. Let's take you through the numbers. Since 5th of August, 238 people have been killed. Before 5th of August, it was 349. That's the total number of people who have been killed in the targeted attacks. Now, as far as Hindus are concerned, of the 238, 203 are Hindus, minorities who have been targeted since 5th of August. So those who are basically questioning that whether at all Hindus have been killed or not, these are reports that have been published in Dhaka itself. Let me also go across to our reporter on the ground. Mohammed Islam is joining us from Puran, Dhaka area. Mohammed Mazhar Islam, thank you very much for reporting for Republic TV. I want to straight away begin by asking you, you've already had the interim government head saying that measures are being taken to protect the minorities. I want to understand from you what's the current situation in Dhaka. If you can just move around a little bit and show to us what's really happening there. And secondly, also tell our viewers about the measures that have been taken so far.
Exactly. I am standing in the old Dhaka. You mentioned that. It's a very populated area in Dhaka city. And you can see, I just want to show you that it's very calm right now. Few days ago, here is lots of clashes and lots of violations happened here. But right now, we can see the rickshaws is here and roads are very calm. And you can see the shops are open. And there is no police or you can say the security person, because police taken their actions and they are in the police station right now, and they will be very, very keen to work back. And you can see that shops are open and all the customers coming without any hesitation, without any security concern right now. Though there is a concern, but they are feeling very, very secure right now because some incident happened before someday before, and you already concerned and you publishing that there is some case of clash in minorities or about a concern of security. But right now, I can say it's a very calm city and calm country, but there is some actions should be taken and some action not taken because not taken for the people and for the country itself.
Well, just a quick question that I wanted to take with you, just 30 seconds, Mohammed Islam, in terms of some of the other areas apart from Dhaka where the attacks are still continuing. Why is it that we've constantly been seeing that some are arguing that there have been no attacks, everything has been under control? If that's the case, we wouldn't have been getting the kind of SOS calls that we're getting from Bangladesh.
It's not like that. It's many information is not correct right now. I can say you know that, and when something like big event happen in the city or in the country all over the world, some cases is not true. In Dhaka city, I have faced some big clashes. I have seen closely, but political concerns, student movements are really right. But there is something that is special that is not true. And you already say that there is some clashes. I already mentioned that, but after a big change, there's something happened in the case of this event. It's not for the case of Bangladesh. It's always happened, but some are true. And I think this government that ruling right now, it will. We all have faith, and people have faith that they can get some good treatment because last 15 years or before that is not something does not work well for the people. There is huge corruption. There is allegation of some big corruption or something. You can see our development process. So people are trusting this new government, and I think people's trust to be paid off. And let's see, because it's really very early to say what would go on, but I think the people are really happy right now, and they will question after 1.5 months later.
Well, thank you very much, Mohammed Islam, for getting us that report from Dhaka. That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. In fact, this is also an issue that has been taken up by Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami. Remember, over the last several days, we've been raising our voice about those who have been constantly being targeted. Once again, time for everyone to speak up. That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time with more news.
Islamist threat in Bangladesh. Hindus unite globally for justice for Bangladeshi Hindus. Muslims in danger lobby silent on Hindu genocide. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
The taste of success.
After Mohit Khan, another Samajwadi Party leader Nawab Singh accused of attempt to rape a minor in Kannauj.
We demand a DNA test. We also demand concrete evidence before anybody is actually accused, and if there is any conspiracy involved, then those who are involved in this conspiracy should also be brought to the book.
Woman Samajwadi Party spokesperson brazens it out as she goes on to victim shame the minor.
Significant risk in the Indian stock market because the institution that governs the stock market is compromised.
Adani and SEBI deny Hindenburg allegations, but Rahul Gandhi fearmongers with market crash theory. Hindus across the globe unite against persecution of minorities in Bangladesh. Global call to save Hindus. From the national capital to Thiruvananthapuram, doctors hit the streets demanding justice for Abhaya. Big claim by Eknath Shinde camp as they allege that Uddhav Thackeray secretly met with the notorious Gupta brothers from South Africa in Delhi. Well, justice for Abhaya chorus is only growing louder. Telangana junior doctors have also called for a candlelight protest over the rape and murder of the young doctor in Kolkata. Remember, through the day, we have seen a protest taking place across the country, starting from the national capital all the way to Thiruvananthapuram, where resident doctors have once again come together in support of Abhaya, the fight for justice, as West Bengal government seems to be cornered with the lack of action that has taken place. Let me also go across to my colleague Aniri, who's joining us from Hyderabad, getting us the latest details. Aniri, why don't you take us through the latest details that are coming in, the candlelight vigil that has been called, and also if you could speak to some of the doctors there, what is it that they are looking for?
No service! No service! No safety! No service!
Well, Shaman, what we are seeing right now is that a massive protest is being taken up here by the doctors. The Telangana Juniors Doctors Association have taken up this protest over the incident which has happened in Kolkata, where we see that a young daughter was brutally raped and murdered, and following which we saw how nationwide protest was taken up. And right now also here the Telangana Juniors Doctors Association have taken out a candlelight march in association, in standing in solidarity with the family members of the young doctor, what happened with her, and also we'll try and speak to some of the doctors here, what they have to say. What do you have to say on what happened in Kolkata with the young doctor?
We want justice! We want justice! We need facilities, we are feeling unsafe. We need more facilities.
What do you have to say on the incident which happened in Kolkata?
See, it is very heinous act which is happened in Kolkata, RG Medical College. We here, Telangana Juda and from Gandhi Juda, we hold doctors supporting the victim. So we immediately ask the government to take action on the culprits, and we also request to secure their family, and also we ask the government to suspend the whole faculty who is responsible for this, because the lack of infrastructure, it is happened. So we need CCTV installments, we need female duty rooms, and we also need the security which is utmost needed, the whole government. So we request the CBI inquiry. Also we need duty rooms to female doctors.
Right. Also, we have few other female doctors also who have joined here for the protest, for a candlelight march. We'll try and talk to them. What do you have to say over this shocking incident which has taken place, and what's the demand you all the doctors have putting forward?
Actually, what has happened is a very heinous crime. Actually, we lady doctors have to cross many hurdles to come to this stage, and additionally, this has added up to it. Everybody of you know, she was not wearing any revealing clothes or any provoking makeup. She just went to service the people who are deceased, who are unhealthy. She went to service and this has happened. She was in a lot of pain. She went to cure the pain and she suffered a lot of pain before dying. We are sacrificing a lot of things. Our parents are calling us and telling be safe. This is not what we want. We already have so many things to be worried of. This has added up to it. We want to give service to the people without any worries. But because of all such things, we are unable to do it. All we demand is a proper security. We do not have a proper duty room to take rest. Hardly we get 15 or 20 minutes in between the duties to take rest. But that also, it will take time in finding the room only. We don't have proper duty rooms. We don't have proper security. All we are asking is just provide us proper security and we will give you the utmost care and utmost service. All we are demanding is please give justice to the female doctor and her family.
Right. So as you can see, what has happened in Kolkata has definitely shocked the nation, and that is the reason why we see that the Doctors Association have come out in a massive protest here in Telangana, in Hyderabad. Also, as you can see, a candlelight march being held here at the Gandhi Hospital, where you can see the doctors demand justice for the family members of the victim girl, what has happened with her. And definitely we are seeing that a lot of nationwide protests have been taking up over this incident.
Well, Anari, just a quick question before I let you go with regards to the kind of demands that are essentially being made. And it turns out that not just in Kolkata, but in several other cities, the situation appears to be quite similar.
Justice! We want justice! Justice! We want justice! Justice!
Anari, the question that I was asking you is that quite familiar voices, we've been hearing the similar demands that many junior doctors are making, right from the national capital all the way to Thiruvananthapuram. In terms of the facilities that are being provided, in terms of security that is being provided to the nurses, it appears that it is quite similar to what we are seeing in other cities too.
Well, Shaman, the only demand which has been growing here is that they want a proper security, which is to be provided, is what they have been demanding. They have been demanding a room, a duty room for them to rest for 15 minutes. And as you can see, slogans being raised here by the doctors, saying that we stand in solidarity with the woman, doctor, what has happened with her. And also at the same time, they have been saying that they will put forth their demands with the government, but also they demand a proper security is what every doctor has to say here. So we'll have to see how it turns out to be, what would be the talks that would be held tomorrow, and going forward, what next will be the step taken up by these doctors. We'll also have to wait and watch.
Well, thank you very much, Aniri, for getting us the latest details that were protests that are taking place in Hyderabad through the day. We have seen similar protests taking place in the national capital as well as in Lucknow and Thiruvananthapuram. Well, in fact, the BJP is also now seeking answers from the state government. A short while back, Union Minister Sukanta Majumdar, speaking to Republic TV, demanded that the matter should be handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation.
ये जो पूरी घटना हुई है बहुत सारे सवाल खड़ा करती है वेस्ट बंगाल प्रशासन के ऊपर, वेस्ट बंगाल सरकार के ऊपर। भले ही प्रिंसिपल ने अपने पद से इस्तीफा दे दिया है, लेकिन इस तरह के ये पहला है जो संज्ञान में आया है, लेकिन और भी पहले से पहले एलिगेशंस लगते हुए रहे हैं।
देखिए, ये जो घटना घटी है, ये ऐसा जैसा बोल रहा है कि किसी एक ने एक को गिरफ्तार किया है, अरेस्ट किया, उनके ऊपर ही सब लोग स्केपगोट बना रहे, ये एक के हाथ में नहीं हुआ है। और ममता बनर्जी और जो भी है सब लोग जो बयान दे रहे हैं कि जो बात मीडिया के सामने सबके सामने कर रहे हैं कि इसको फांसी चाहिए, इसका जितना अगर ये लोग पुलिस लोग नहीं कर पाएंगे तो इसको सीबीआई में देना चाहिए, मुझे उनको देखकर लग रहा है कि किसी को छुपाना चाहते हैं। कोई भी ऐसा कोई है व्यक्ति, उसको छुपाने के लिए ये सामने पूरा मतलब एक एक्टिंग, ये एक्ट चल रहा है। मुझे लग रहा है क्योंकि जैसे तरीके से ये मतलब जो बेटी है उसका जो हत्या जैसे करके हत्या हुआ है, उसमें बहुत सारा क्वेश्चंस सामने आ जाते हैं। इतने सारा फ्रैक्चर्स, इतने सारा कट मार्क्स उनका पूरा बॉडी में है, इतना कुछ है तो वहीं पे किसी को मालूम नहीं पड़ा और 24 घंटा बाद पुलिस देख रहे कि वहाँ पे एक हेडफोन मिला और पुलिस तुरंत बोल रहे कि उसका घर पे फ़ोन करके बता रहे कि उन्होंने सुसाइड किया है। और वही पुलिस को अभी ममता बनर्जी डिपेंड कर रहे कि आप संडे के अंदर आपने पूरा रिपोर्ट ठीक ठाक से इंक्वायरी कीजिए, सामने लेकर आइए। तो मतलब ये बहुत सारा क्वेश्चन मार्क्स इसमें हो रहा है और मुझे लग रहा है कि इसका जांच ठीक से होना चाहिए और जो भी प्रभावशाली कोई भी इसमें इसका हाथ है, इसको कुछ छुपाने का कोशिश कर रहा है। पूरा जो स्टूडेंट्स ग्रुप है, जो डॉक्टर्स का ग्रुप है, इसमें कोई राजनीति नहीं है। इसमें चाहिए कि हम लोग को विचार चाहिए।
देखिए, ये जो केस हैंडलिंग हो रहा है हमारे पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार के द्वारा, स्पेशली एक वोमेन मुख्यमंत्री रहते हुए ममता बनर्जी के द्वारा, ये बहुत ही शर्मसार कर देने वाली घटना है। पहली तो एक, क्योंकि लास्ट 10-15 ईयर्स में मुझे तो ऐसा कुछ याद नहीं आ रहा है कि एक सरकारी प्रेमिसेस में इस तरीके का सरकारी डॉक्टर ऑन ड्यूटी रहते हुए जिनके ऊपर इस तरीके का बलात्कार की घटना घटी है, और भी कलकत्ता में, मतलब जो कैपिटल है आपका स्टेट का, और कलकत्ता में कहाँ पे, जो कलकत्ता का हार्ट ऑफ द कलकत्ता जिसे बोल जाता है, जिस एरिया को, उसी इलाके में ऐसी घटना घटी है। और ऐसी दर्दनाक घटना है। मैं परिवार से भी मिला, मैं उनके माता जी पिताजी पूरी तरीके से रो रहे थे दोनों। और जिस तरीके की घटना घटी और उसके बाद जो मिसहैंडलिंग हो रहा है, मतलब वी आर डाउटफुल अबाउट द रोल ऑफ द पुलिस। Even I feel every citizen of West Bengal, they are also doubtful, because from the beginning police were saying that it is an incident of suicide. Even the police officer also called the parents that your daughter has committed the suicide. So without investigation, if you designated the incident as a suicide, and after some investigation, prima facie investigation, you are saying that it is a matter of murder. So the stand of the police is very doubtful, और हमें लगता है इसमें इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए और सीबीआई इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि जो एक्यूज्ड भी ये पुलिस बोल रही है वो सिविक वॉलंटियर है। सिविक वॉलंटियर एक अनोखी चीज़ है, बाकी राज्यों में तो है नहीं, सिर्फ बंगाल में ही है। पुलिस के अंदर एक जो नॉन गवर्नमेंट एक बॉडी बना के रखा है पश्चिम बंगाल की सरकार ने, जहाँ पे लोग काम करते हैं, ना उनका पेंशन है, ना जीपीएफ है, और 60 ईयर के बाद रिटायरमेंट है, और वो उसको पुलिस सेमी पुलिस बोल सकते हैं, जो भी बोले, ऐसा बना के रखा है। अब जिसको पकड़ा वो ही इज़ ए पार्ट ऑफ पुलिस। सो कैसे इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहे हैं? जो सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंसेस मीडिया के माध्यम से हमें पता चल रहा है कि महिला के कॉलर बोन का ब्रेकेज हुआ है, ऐसे बहुत सारे इंटरनल पार्ट में इंजरी है। कहीं लोग ऐसे भी रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हैं कि देयर प्रेजेंस ऑफ 2 types of semen samples is recovered from that area. So if it is true, then obviously more than one people are involved. And जो breakage of collarbone हुआ है, it is also giving the evidence that it is not possible by the one man. So we have full doubt that whether only a single person was involved or more than one person were involved. So the CBI should given the investigation, उनको करना चाहिए। और हम कल से धरने पे भी बैठ रहे हैं CBI की इंक्वायरी के लिए।
After Ayodhya, another case of attempted rape has been reported from Uttar Pradesh. This time you have a Samajwadi Party leader who's been accused of attempting to rape a minor girl. Brazing it out is Samajwadi Party leader who says that a DNA test should be done. Take a look at this report.
Weeks after horrific Ayodhya rape case that involved a Samajwadi Party leader, another such case has now come to light in Uttar Pradesh's Kannauj. A 15-year-old girl was allegedly stripped and SP leader Nawab Singh Yadav attempted to rape her. According to Kannauj police, the minor arrived at SP leader's residence with a paternal aunt for a job. The police rescued the girl and arrested Nawab Singh Yadav in an objectionable condition.
आज रात्रि लगभग 1:30 बजे यूपी 112 पे फ़ोन से सूचना प्राप्त हुई थी, जिसमें लड़की ने कहा था कि मेरे ऊपर के कपड़े उतार दिया है और गलत काम करने का प्रयास किया गया है। तत्काल मौके पे पीआरबी और थाना कन्नौज की पुलिस पहुंची थी, जहां से लड़की को बरामद किया गया और आपत्तिजनक अवस्था में अभियुक्त नवाब सिंह यादव को गिरफ्तार किया गया। पूछताछ में लड़की ने बताया है कि इसकी बुआ है, जिसके साथ ये रात्रि में नवाब सिंह यादव के यहाँ पहुँचे थे। इन्होंने बताया था कि नौकरी के नाम पर बुलाया और उसके बाद इस प्रकार की घटना हुई। तहरीर के आधार पर इसमें संगत धाराओं में भारतीय न्याय संहिता और पॉक्सो एक्ट के अंतर्गत मुकदमा पंजीकृत किया गया, सभी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया और विधिक कार्रवाई की जा रही है।
A case has been registered by the Uttar Pradesh police under the sections of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and POXO Act, and further investigation is underway. Notably, Nawab Singh Yadav has been the representative of Kannauj MP and Akhilesh Yadav's wife Dimple Yadav. After evading questions over the Ayodhya horror, Samajwadi Party is again on the back foot over the Kannauj rape case. The Samajwadi Party has a lot to answer over the horror.
After forcing their Prime Minister out and threatening their Chief Justice to resign, media is the latest institution in Bangladesh under attack with a new gag order threatening a complete ban for spread of what the interim government of Muhammad Yunus believes is misinformation. As Bangladesh descends into anarchy, we will bring you the latest news and updates here on Republic TV right after this short break. Do not go anywhere.
Attempt 2.0 to disrupt India's economic growth. Opposition joins probe SEBI chorus. Systematic attempt to delegitimize Indian institutions, debating tonight at 8 p.m.
The taste of success.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings. A testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
The taste of success.
Tim would never just tell the kids knowledge, He'd give them an issue or a problem and then, okay, you need to talk about it. You need to think through this, make a plan. And so I think he carries that with him still.
Here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walls just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are.
Fire alarm? Yep, we're going to test it.
Thank you. Okay. A little bit. Okay.
Because somewhere go to Verizon and number one, be like, why am I paying so much?
That's actually Fire alarm? Yep, we're going to test it.
Thank you.
And as I think everyone here can see, Tim Walz was the kind of teacher and mentor that every child in America dreams of having, and that every kid deserves. The kind of coach, because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be. And that's the kind of vice president America deserves.
It's been fun to tell my friends across the nation and also international friends that the memes that are on Twitter about how he's like the Midwest dad, they're all absolutely true.
So here's the moment of the state tournament where we realize we're about to win the game. Here's Mr. Walls just pumped, pointing at the crowd. Next up, the cheerleaders. Here we are celebrating. I used to watch Tim Walls walk down the hallways. And I probably shouldn't even use the word walk. This man moves so quickly. So you could just hear him coming a mile away. But the reason you knew he was coming is he was saying, good morning, how's it going? Hey, saw that game last night, great job on the basketball team. Good morning, how you feeling? Ooh, you're looking a little rough today, what's going on? He was always checking in with every individual, whether you were in his class, whether you were on the football team.
Tim would never...
The Jharkhand High Court on Thursday directed the state government to take immediate action against illegal Bangladeshi immigrants. BJP has lauded the High Court's decision.
वक्त बांग्लादेश से तो झारखंड हाई कोर्ट ने अभी ऑर्डर दिया है स्टेट को कि जांच होनी चाहिए जितने भी इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स आ रहे हैं झारखंड में। इस पे क्या कहेंगे?
घुसपैठियों की रोहिंग्या के लिए हम लगातार आवाज उठाते रहे, शोर मचाते रहे, हम कानूनी कदम भी उठा रहे हैं, लेकिन जिन राजनीतिक दलों का इनसे लाभ मिलता है, जिनको या जितनी बॉर्डर वेस्ट बंगाल हो गया, ये ऐसे प्रांत हैं जो उनको लाकर हिंदुओं का यहाँ दमन करना चाहते हैं, यहाँ पर अव्यवस्था फैलाना चाहते हैं, यहाँ की भौगोलिक दृष्टि से खतरा पैदा करना चाहते हैं। और कोर्ट का निर्णय है, अच्छा निर्णय है, लेकिन सरकार सतर्क है, किसी प्रकार की ऐसी घुसपैठ को बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा और सीए के मातहत जितना भी हो सकेगा अपने लोगों को बचाने का भी काम किया जाए।
This comes in line with government's crackdown on illegal immigrants entering the state through the Santhal Parganas.
Attempt 2.0 to disrupt India's economic growth. Opposition joins probe SEBI chorus. Systematic attempt to delegitimize Indian institutions, debating tonight at 8 p.m. Hindus under Islamist threat in Bangladesh. Hindus unite globally for justice for Bangladeshi Hindus. Muslims in danger lobby silent on Hindu genocide, debating tonight at 9 p.m.
The taste of success.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings. A testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Director, The Taste of Success.
Attempt 2.0 to disrupt India's economic growth. Opposition joins probe SEBI chorus. Systematic attempt to delegitimize Indian institutions, debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Sir, I want to come along.
No, you're not coming.
इंजीनियरिंग में इतनी मेहनत करके तुम आईआईटी में थ्रू हुए हो, कोई मजाक थोड़ी ना है।
पर वो जो अरुण के अंदर वो जो फॉरवर्ड एरिया में मुझे जाना ही जाना है, लड़ झड़गड़ के वो फॉरवर्ड एरिया में गए।
I know, थोड़ा मुश्किल है, but with a lot of practice, we'll be able to achieve it.
जल्दी हमला करो, इससे पहले टैंक्स ब्रिज हेड में आ जाए।
यस, हमें तो मरता ही नहीं है।
I'll get a higher middle somewhere.
Hindus under Islamist threat in Bangladesh. Hindus unite globally for justice for Bangladeshi Hindus. Muslims in danger lobby silent on Hindu genocide, debating tonight at 9 p.m. Attempt 2.0 to disrupt India's economic growth. Opposition joins probe SEBI chorus. systematic attempt to delegitimize Indian institutions, debating tonight at 8 p.m.
This is the Republic Kitply Bio Bond Studio. Stay tuned for all the breaking news and updates. I'm Suesha Sawant. Let's get started.
Hindus under Islamist threat in Bangladesh. Hindus unite globally for justice for Bangladeshi Hindus. Muslims in danger lobby silent on Hindu genocide, debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Sir, I want to come along.
No, you're not coming.
इंजीनियरिंग में इतनी मेहनत करके तुम आईआईटी में थ्रू हुए हो, कोई मजाक थोड़ी ना है।
पर वो जो अरुण के अंदर वो जो फॉरवर्ड एरिया में मुझे जाना ही जाना है, लड़ झड़गड़ के वो फॉरवर्ड एरिया में गए।
I know, थोड़ा मुश्किल है, but with a lot of practice, we'll be able to achieve it.
जल्दी हमला करो।
Blending the human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Super Prime Time Max on the debate with Arnab, and tonight I want to start by saying that I know a dud when I see one. And the latest Hindenburg report is a pathetic dud. It's a desperate attempt to make the stock markets of India fall, which they didn't. It's an attempt to target the stock market regulator of India, which it couldn't. It is a weak and pathetic response to the 46-page notice that Hindenburg got from SEBI. It is a George Soros Congress Party supported ploy to shake India's rising economy, where, by the way, retail inflation fell to a new low today. But most importantly, to the Congress Party, I would say be careful. Be careful, because you are interacting with a fraud company, a fraud short seller called Hindenburg. The Congress Party should know and read the disclaimer that Hindenburg put out in its report, where they said that their sole reason to put out this report is to try and make some money. They have said that they will conduct their trading in a way to try and benefit from any tremors that this report could cause. But ladies and gentlemen, beyond Hindenburg making money and being a fraud company, the fact is also that this is an American deep state agent. The American economy is most certainly going into recession. The Japanese stock market is down and the German economy is most certainly already in recession. So now it's a battle between a rising Indian economy, a dying Western economic base, and a very weak America, which is on the edge of a social and economic meltdown. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time we give Hindenburg a tight metaphorical slap. And that is what the markets did today, by the way, by growing and not falling. Viewers of Republic, our country is under attack, have no doubt about it. Our economy is under attack. Our entrepreneurship is under attack. Our society is under attack. Our animal spirits are under attack, but we will win. Unfortunately, and this is the point tonight, some of our political parties, not all, have decided to join hands with the enemy. They want power at the cost of anarchy. They want power at the cost of chaos, economic turmoil. And I appeal to them tonight. Do not join hands with India's enemies because we are watching, we are fighting them. Don't join hands with them. Because they will win, they will lose, and we will win this. We will beat back India's enemies. To these political parties who are joining hands or about to join hands with the enemy, I have clear advice. History must not remember you as those who sided with a foreign enemy to try and desperately grab a tiny slice of power. Ladies and gentlemen, I will constantly attempt through my programs to bring the country together because we are at war with a silent and dangerous enemy that does not have the guts to come out in the open, that is using some political parties on our soil. Debate 1 tonight, an example of that being the Hindenburg dud. The hit job became a dud job. Debate number 2 tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, when the mobocracy is out in full force in Bangladesh, where are the supporters of the Jamaat-e-Islami and the CIA? America hiding, Bangladesh burning. Debate 2. And here are the headlines this Monday evening on the Debate Tonight.
That there is a significant risk in the Indian stock market because the institution that governs the stock market is compromised.
In a complete act of desperation, US fraud short seller Hindenburg Research tries to target the Adani Group, but this time more SEBI. It has no impact. The stock markets, in fact, do better and don't crash. Bangladesh plunges into total anarchy with violent mobs dismantling the democratic institutions, threatening key officials, instigating targeted attacks against the Hindu community. The situation is dire. Muhammad Yunus has no control. The military leadership has lost control of the bureaucracy. The nation is on the brink of collapse. The pro-anarchy lobby in India must learn the lessons from Bangladesh. The turmoil there is a lesson for the people in India who are siding with the Americans never to allow this, never to let the FBI and the CIA do this in India. In Kolkata, a 31-year-old doctor who was raped and murdered. The details of the crime are spine-chilling. Initial autopsy report says the victim's body had multiple injury marks, that she was bleeding from her eyes and mouth. The investigation reveals that the accused's mobile phone had many pornographic clips from New Delhi to Thiruvananthapuram. The clamor for justice for Abhaya is growing louder. And what a shame, case after case. SP leaders' names come out in cases linked to the rape of minors after the Gayodhya gang rape. Another incident comes to light from Kannauj, where there are allegations of attempting to rape a 15-year-old, and a very, very close aide of Akhilesh and Dimple Yadav, Nawab Yadav, SP leader, is accused of the heinous crime. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with a quick report on the Hindenburg dud, the dud that has fallen flat on its face because it had no substance. It has come down crashing very, very hard, in fact harder than its German namesake airship. That is because the people of India, Indian investors, the Indian business community has become very smart and understood that this is a foreign-inspired operation to shake the Indian economy, which won't happen. Let's debate.
After the failed Adani hit job in 2023, the United States-based short seller Hindenburg Group returned once again with its anti-India agenda. In a desperate attempt to malign SEBI's credibility as it investigates Hindenburg's initial allegations against Adani, the short seller, in a last-ditch effort, has tried to target the SEBI chief Madhvi Buch herself.
US-based short seller Hindenburg Research released another report leveling serious allegation against SEBI chairperson Madhvi Buch and her husband Dhaval Buch for having links to an offshore fund used by Adani Group. However, Madhvi Buch, SEBI chairperson, in reply to the Hindenburg's allegation, said that these are completely hollow charges and the investment pertaining to the offshore funds were before her appointment as a whole-time director of SEBI in 2017.
Buch has denied the conjecture thrown by Hindenburg, pointing out that the investments in question were made all the way back in 2015 as private citizens, predating the SEBI appointment by 2 years. SEBI has also stood by its chief, maintaining that it has enough checks and balances for such situations. But the allegations that were outrightly rejected by the wisdom of the markets and business leaders have not stopped the Toolkit Brigade to repeat and echo the statements of the short sellers.
There is a significant risk in the Indian stock market because the institution that governs the stock market is compromised. The savings of millions of Indians, hard-earned, honestly earned savings, are at risk. It is therefore imperative that this matter is investigated.
Just like the 2023 toolkit of a JPC, the opposition right on cue has once again regurgitated the same discredited allegations, just like Hindenburg. BJP has hit back, calling it a malicious report that seeks to destroy Indian markets.
On behalf of the National Forum of the BJP, we would like to say with full sense of responsibility that after being rebuffed by the people of India, the Congress party, its allies and its closest allies, the Toolkit gang, have conspired together to usher in economic anarchy and instability in India.
This is not the first time the Toolkit Brigade has used its might to discredit Indian institutions, from alleging the EVM scams.
EVM पे मुझे कल भी भरोसा नहीं था, आज भी नहीं भरोसा। मैं 80 के 80 सीट जीत जाऊं तब भी नहीं भरोसा। और मैंने अपने चुनाव में कहा था अध्यक्ष महोदय कि EVM से जीत करके EVM हटाने का काम करेंगे। न EVM का मुद्दा मरा है, न जाएगा खत्म। जब तक EVM नहीं हटेगी, हम समाजवादी लोग उस बात पर अड़ग रहेंगे।
To crying wolf,